All right, let's talk about Ty.
I want some nasty.
Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys, so we're going to talk about Tyrone Washington, aka TyTy, and I definitely have an opinion on him. Now, first and foremost, once again, I'm really sorry. I'm really sick, so my voice sounds terrible. I feel terrible, but I'm going to go through this nonetheless because I just love talking basketball with you guys. So overall, let's go ahead and look at mock drafts. So right now they have him at the 19th spot, in which he's moved quite a bit. I saw him in the lottery at some point, and now he's kicked out to 19th. And I honestly think 19th to 27th would be a good spot for him. And I know that that's a spoiler, but I do want to at least talk about this. So let's go ahead and go into his stats, and then I'm going to go into how I feel about him overall. And we're going to talk about a little story, nothing really big. It's not a crazy story, but it's just something nonetheless that I think is a good thing. So, all right, so he's sitting at 19th. Let's go ahead and look at his stats. Now, first and foremost, these stats are going to be a little misleading, okay? A couple of these stats. So 12.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 45% field goal percentage. Now, I want to go ahead and keep this, I want you guys to keep this in mind, that he actually started suffering quite a bit during the season that brought down his stats after an injury. He's, from what I've read, very injury prone, or at least a little injury prone, and it was coming off of an ankle injury in which his statistical categories went down significantly. As you can see here, it's nothing to look at and get super excited for. He had one game in which he really showed out, but other than that, you can see that he was lottery pick possibly, and then boom, teams might not want to take a shot on it. But what type of player he is, he's as you can see here, he's a kind of volume shooter. He's more of a spark plug, if you will. He can get it really going once he gets his shot going, but he has a really quick release, and he's good off ball and on ball, essentially. I'm sorry guys, I can't talk, I'm sick. But he's a really good shot creator, so he's pretty creative with the ball, and he's a really good mid-range scorer. Now, when I was saying that it's pretty misleading, me personally, I think these assists are misleading. So he's averaging 4 assists, which is pretty good, especially with him not necessarily being the primary playmaker. And he had one game in here where he went 17 points and 17 assists, which is ridiculous. But I think that it's a little misleading with some of the assists. I've seen a few things say that he has super high IQ. Me personally, I didn't necessarily see it. I think it just came down to his mid-range game, because he's so good at the midi, and he's also good at the pick and roll, in which when he's coming off of pick and rolls, oftentimes they want to give him a little bit more attention, and then he has an open guy under the basket, or he has an open guy driving to the basket. So overall, I think that it's a bit misleading, but it just speaks volumes of how good of a shooter he is, or how good of a shooter he could potentially be. Now, that's kind of where the red flag comes in when it comes to the injury and what type of player he can be, because I think that a lot of teams right now might be scratching their heads and not completely sold that he can be a really great player. Now, I will say this is kind of a positive and negative, and it might be kind of a backhanded compliment, but going into what type of player he is, as I said, quick release, off ball and on ball, good mid-range scorer, but he's not a great defender necessarily. He's a good defender. He can get steals, but he's more of an opportunist on defense. But he's not going to kill you. If he goes out there with your team, he's not going to just make a fool of himself. He'll be able to stay in front of his guy for the most part. But the big issue, and this is the backhanded compliment, is that he's not very athletic. So that's a good thing and bad thing when it comes to his injury, because in my opinion, he's not necessarily predicated, his game isn't predicated off of his athletic ability as someone like a Ja Morant, right? Like Ja Morant, he needs his athletic ability unless he just kind of rearranges the way that he plays basketball. Same with Derrick Rose, back in the day. He had to kind of adjust because he was really predicated off his athleticism. So he's not predicated off his athleticism. He's more so a pull-up scorer. He's more so a nice pick and roll option. But I don't necessarily think that he, with his lack of athleticism, that he can be a superstar type talent in the NBA. I could be wrong, but I don't necessarily see it. So this is what I want to talk about, because I was trying to look at anything when it comes to his family. I didn't see a whole lot, but apparently he is he's very close to his dad, T. So this was something that was posted and I don't know who posted this, but they posted him. As you can see, that's TyTy, Tyrone Washington, and they put on there off to the league, and they tagged TyTy Washington. And for some reason, people believed, and this was a while ago, I believe 2020. Oh no, this is March 27, 2022, in which this was dad had to say, "I love the internet." That was pictures. What a fan took, and they tag him and put the caption up. Never had this on his IG story, so people were saying that this was on his IG story, and his dad kind of stood up for him. And as you can see here, even on his dad's Twitter, he continuously posts his son. So I'm going to assume, I'm making an assumption that he's pretty close to him. I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but I guess I could be wrong. I don't know. But anyways, just go into the pros and cons and wrap this thing up because my throat is killing me and I'm about to sneeze. So he's 6'3", 195 is his weight, freshman. And as we scroll down, projected lottery they have on here. I don't think he will, but that's just me. Solid score off the dribble. We talked about that. Decent shooter. Agree. Excels at scoring on the off ball motion plays. Agree. Solid playmaker. Solid. Yeah, I would say that. I would say adequate more likely. Decent rebounder for his size. That's actually something we did not talk about. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I guess. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Adequate defender that can get steals. I did talk about the steals, but I think he's more of an opportunist. I don't think he's like a rip it from your hands type player. That's not necessarily what I've seen. I could be wrong, but he has a pretty nice wingspan as well, so who knows. Good athlete. He's an okay athlete. Streaky shooter, and I think that's coming off that injury. Prone to hoisting up questionable shots. Can be reluctant to take threes. Yeah, that is kind of a thing. Let's see. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. He takes about 3.3, and I think he could be a much better scorer once he gets to the NBA. Can play too wildly on offense, and I think that comes down to his lack of athleticism again, because he really relies on, from what I've seen, a lot of floaters. He can't really get to the rim and utilize any type of athleticism because he doesn't have a ton there. Can be too scoring focused on offense, tendency to over dribble, which can lead to turnovers, struggles to guard taller players. So there you go. And we're going to read here. He is a combo guard, so is a athletic, skilled playmaker that can score the basketball in a variety of ways and also run the team with the ball in his hands. He needs to show that he can consistently shoot and defend well. After having a poor championship classic showing at the start of the season, he's played very well since. He's fleet-footed guard whose offensive skills and upside may make him a solid candidate to go to the lottery. I will say this as well. This is one thing that I kind of missed out. I probably was like a little too mean on the playmaking. He is very accurate. Although I think that a lot of his playmaking do come from his ability to create his own shot, which that's great for everybody, right? I mean, part of the reason why Steph Curry is such a great playmaker, or really good playmaker, is because of his ability to shoot. But besides that, I think that he is very accurate with his passes. So they are right there on the money. Tom Brady, just stick your hand out and you get it. So maybe I was a little too harsh on there, but that was one thing that I didn't mention. But I want to know what you guys think about him, because honestly, I didn't know much about TyTy until now. But I did want to at least put this out there because he is somebody that we're going to be looking at, and combine and everything like that. And overall, like I said, I'm going to go through all of these players. So we're going to get through all of them. We're going to see what type of players we got in this draft, and we're going to have some fun with it. But let me know what you think. You want to support the channel, only $2 per month. Patreon and YouTube members, link in the description, okay? Just help your boy out. You can go to the YouTube channel and just hit the little join button and become a member. I'll get with you later. Till next time, deuces, man.